Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's Friday, December 23rd, 2016. One of the big news stories today, Carrie Fisher, the actress from Star Wars who played Princess Leia, reportedly hospitalized after stopping breathing while flying on a flight from London to the United States, Los Angeles. And I want to show you what's so suspicious about the reporting surrounding her death. Notice the Los Angeles Fire Department reported that she was picked up from LAX gate number 74. And as I've been explaining, when the mainstream media reports on fictional stories, they often code 33, 47, 74. Let's look at how 74 is very relevant to Carrie Fisher. Carrie Fisher, the actress name in Gematria sums to 74. And she was flying from London to LA. London also has the Gematria of 74. As I've explained since the first video, the mainstream media, which is controlled by Zionist Jews and Freemasons, the same people who control Hollywood, the same people who made Carrie Fisher a celebrity, the same people who've made her rich and famous. These people, the Freemasons, the Zionist Jews, they communicate in the language of gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words. This is how they create the actor and actress names that we know in Hollywood. You know, most of these celebrities, they've changed their names. And a lot of their names have been changed to have these symbolic numbers. 33, 74, numbers that often come together in sacrifice, killing, ritual. Remember, Jesus equals 74, cross equals 74, Messiah 74, gospel 74, Jesus on the cross at age 33, 74 and 33. Out of the 50 states, only one sums to 74. It's Oregon, the 33rd state in order of statehood. The word killing, I should mention, also has gematria of 74. Again, it shows up often around ritual sacrifice, false flag propaganda, scare stories, shootings, bombings, etc. The Freemasons are very repetitive in their rituals, and these are some of their most important numbers, 33 and 74. They say she's ill, flying back from London. Just notice that ill has gematria of 33. CNN, their headline, Carrie Fisher hospitalized. We've been seeing a lot of hospitalized headlines, which we'll touch more on, especially in regards to space. John Glenn, Buzz Aldrin, just in recent weeks. Carrie Fisher hospitalized has gematria of 137, which is the 33rd prime number, 74, 33. This news comes the weekend of Christmas, the celebration of Jesus. If you missed the video I did last night about Jesus and how Jesus Christ truly is the sun in the sky, and the reason we celebrate his birthday at this time has everything to do with the winter solstice. If you doubt that, or if you haven't watched that video yet, please take the time to. Knowledge is power. If you worship Jesus Christ, you should know what you're really worshiping. And I'm not saying it's wrong to worship the sun, but that is what you're worshiping. God's sun, the sun in the sky. Listen, God's sun in gematria sums to 93, so does crucifix. They tell us the sun is 93 million miles away. To the occult, Saturn is the keeper of time. Saturn equals 93. Saturn, the keeper of time. The sun, 93 million miles away. The true keeper of time. But is the sun really 93 million miles away? Christianity sums to 930 in gematria. 930. Special numbers. Check out the video I put out last night. If you click on my videos, it's the one that comes just two before this. But I will link it in the description to make it easier. So anyhow, Carrie Fisher, 74. 74, a special number to the gang of Freemasons and Zionist Jews who control media, who control Hollywood. Masonic 74, Jewish 74, occult 74, all the other 74s we mentioned. English equals 74. So does gematria. So does alphabetic order. So does holiday. So does Independence Day. So this word hospitalized, and we'll talk more about this when we look at other hospitalized headlines. Hospitalized equals 144. When you write out 44 as a word, it sums to 144. Last Friday, the new Star Wars movie released on a date with 44 numerology. Had a major tribute to one of the films that Carrie Fisher was in herself. When you write out 71, it also sums to 144. 44 and 71 are the only two numbers when written out that sum to 144. Look at today's date. Date with 71 and 44 numerology. The numbers 17 and 44 have a lot to do with killing throughout history. It's being reported that she came to a complete stop in her breathing on the plane. And, they had to take her off and she wasn't breathing. That's what I just heard on the news. We'll see if the story changes. But they're reporting that her breathing had completely stopped. So are we going to get a headline that she passed away soon? It's possible based on what they said. Today's date also has 51 numerology, conspiracy 51. Using the alphabetic order, the name Carrie Fisher sums to 119. We just talked about in English reduction 74. In English ordinal, the alphabetic order, Carrie Fisher equals 119, just like Star Wars. Likely why she was chosen for the film or named accordingly. I don't know if Carrie Fisher's really her birth name. It might have been her Hollywood name. But Carrie Fisher 119, Star Wars 119, All-Seeing Eye 119, Star of David, Master Plan. Any word with a gematria of 93, like we just talked about, God's Son, Crucifix, Saturn. In Francis Bacon gematria, you add plus 26 for each capital letter. So any word with 93 gematria will become 119 in Francis Bacon. 93, 119. You never seen my work on the World Trade Center bombing in 93 and how that was synced up with September 11th, 2001 perfectly, expressing the Masonic motto, I am. Go back and check out that work. 93, 119, 11/9, September 11th. Don't forget those World Trade Centers were on the 74th meridian. Anyway, this number 119, if you take all the numbers that divide into 119 and add them together, they sum to 144. Like hospitalized, like 44, like 71. These are numbers that have to do with time and killing throughout time. Again and again, these numbers repeat in suspicious deaths. They're saying she had cardiac arrest, which is something that has gematria of 66. So does the word rogue, the name of the new Star Wars film. Word empire has gematria of 66. So does manifest destiny. Special number in the history of the nation. She was at gate 74 again. I should mention that the word gate has gematria of 33. That is the phrase that they use at all airports. It's just interesting that it's gate 74. One more pairing of 33 and 74. She's in the intensive care unit, the ICU, 33. Number having to do with death. A lot of people die in hospitals at the ICU. And remember, every hospital, the entire Western medicine, it's all Freemasonic. Hospitals all throughout this nation established by Freemasons. So many things. This is a Masonic nation. This is a Masonic world order. But just understand, these things abbreviated the way they are, it's not a coincidence. Freemasonry, obsessed with 33. 33, number having to do with death. The majority of hospital deaths happen in the ICU. So they tell us that she was just in London having a good time, healthy. What happened to her unexpected, something we've heard a lot this year. Celebrities dying unexpectedly, falling ill unexpectedly. So much this year. It's been a year of death. They bring up that her Hollywood debut was the movie Shampoo, and there's probably more to research here. I just want to point out that shampoo is a word with 33 gematria. That was in 1975, 41 years ago, or a span of 42 years. 42, number of the Freemasons. Freemason equals 42. 41, the 13th prime number. USA 41. 13 stripes on the flag, 13 colonies. Her name gematria is interesting. Carrie Frances Fisher, gematria of 104, like Jerusalem, like the date of establishment for this nation. One World Trade Center, the new building in New York. You know, there were 2 towers, now there's one world order, Zionist, Masonic world order. Anyway, One World Trade Center equals 93. It's exactly 104 stories tall and 1,776 feet. 17 plus 76 equals 93. A trick in numerology. You can do that for years. Add the first 2 to the second 2, 1776, the year of establishment, the number 93. 93. She has an October birthday, the only month with 33 gematria. Her date of birth, date with 106 numerology, number of prophecy. Born on a date with a life lesson number of 52, another number of prophecy. I noticed her last birthday this year, a date was 67 numerology, number of ritual sacrifice, blood sacrifice 67, Freemasonry 67, female 67, International Women's Day 67th day of the year, March 8th. It was a date with 13 numerology, also a date with 47 numerology. Star Wars The Small Way 47, Darth Vader 47, Lightsaber 47, Force 47. There's even more 47s in Star Wars. Star Wars is so full of 47. Is J.J. Abrams working on the new Star Wars films? I forget because I don't follow. But J.J. Abrams is known for coding 47 into his work. Star Trek and more. From her birthday to her illness, 63 days today. If you count every number 1 through 63, it sums to 2016, like the year we're in. It's also a span of 64 days. Important number to the Zionists, the occult religion Thelema that worships the number 93. If she's going to die, I wouldn't be surprised if she dies after Christmas, December 26th. That would be 67 days from her birthday, number of ritual sacrifice. And I hope that doesn't happen, you know? But if that is the plan for this woman, for her to die or fake her death or whatever's going on here, I wouldn't be surprised if it's reported that day, you know? We'll see what happens. Yoko Ono had similar headlines at the beginning of the year and she survived. John Lennon's ex. Or I shouldn't say his ex, his wife until he was assassinated by the numbers. December 8th, that fateful day. So here's the new film, Rogue One, a Star Wars story. The full title equals 317, the 66th prime. The word rogue alone sums to 66. Again, cardiac arrest 66. Her sudden illness comes 1 week after this film was released. Again, released on a date with 44 numerology. Say the film had a tie to A New Hope, which came out years ago. Hope equals 44. So does the word space. Space equals 44. And how could I forget that in light of Star Wars? Again, when you write out 44, it sums to 144 like hospitalized. We've seen these recent headlines. John Glenn was hospitalized on Pearl Harbor Day on December 7th. Pearl Harbor Day, 144. Hospitalized, 144. 44. NASA, space, the military. You see the patterns here? Pearl Harbor Day news that John Glenn was hospitalized, and then get this. The very next day, December 8th, the same day John Lennon died in history, fateful day in history, John Glenn died. And that was exactly 144 days after his July 18th birthday. A date that can be written 18/7 like 187. CNN's headline coded a 33 right into it. Everything about NASA's 33. If you don't know, NASA was established in the year 58. Science equals 58. Freemasonry 58. Secret Society 58. NASA. Every astronaut to travel to space has been a Freemason. NASA in Francis Bacon gematria, where each letter, capital letter, is plus 26 more. NASA in Francis Bacon gematria sums to 139. Just like Freemasonry using the English alphabet. So anyway, John Glenn, you might have saw his funeral, the black and white Masonic checkerboard floor, total ritual for a Freemason, former astronaut, former senator, dead 144 days after his birthday, dead by the numbers, number of time in Jewish gematria 144, the square root of 144 is 12. Think about 12 in time, 12 months, 12 hours in the morning, the evening. I've been meaning to do a better post on John Glenn. He became senator in 1974, 42 years earlier. You know, Freemason 42, dead 42 years after being a senator, selling out the people in more ways than one. Buzz Aldrin, just days before the John Glenn news, was reported hospitalized after traveling to Antarctica. Another astronaut, another Freemason. This t-shirt was so interesting that they showed this shot. You know, he's smiling, she's smiling. Your ass. You think that's a coincidence? Your ass. Your ass happens to equal 118 like death. Right after this news came the John Glenn news, and he's now dead. As far as I know, Buzz Aldrin's still ticking. Anyhow, Truth Seeker, I want to keep this video short and sweet. Still a bunch of things I gotta do. But I'll link these posts if you want to read more about it. You know, Kanye West, he was recently hospitalized by the numbers. Got a video on that. I know one of his first songs on the radio was about a spaceship. All this space-related hospitalized stuff. And just as a reminder, you know, Kanye West came out just fine. Yoko Ono survived. This is from the beginning of this year. Yoko Ono. The date she was hospitalized was a date with 44 numerology. Just like Carrie Fisher today, you know? The name Ono equals 44. Hospitalized on a date with 44 numerology. Land of Hope. The word hope in there again. Again, hope equals 44. Obama, the 44th president, ran on hope. So there it is, Truth Seeker. More reporting by the numbers. You know, you read these articles and you pay attention. For years, I knew that the media was bogus, and I saw that they always stuck 33, 47, and 74 into stories, long before I knew about numerology or gematria. But I just saw that. I thought, why do those numbers always come up? Then when I found gematria and started decoding things, I said, my goodness. My goodness. Then I learned about how gematria was the hidden key in Freemasonry. And the rest is history. Until next time, Truth Seeker.